uko kuno aho pano mamuona kere nai anovura meso anovura nzeve anokaya marigi kama kwetu tikomo kwetu tikomo usasarire kama kwe anogaya marigi
kamba kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com kamba kwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanosiya mari kamba kwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei vanomuterere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano.
Right, 14 June 2023, and today I'm joined by my usual guest, Dr. Feddious Mutenheri. How are you, Doc?
Gambakwe, I'm very well, man. I should say I missed you. How have you been?
Yes. Yes, I missed you too, Doc. And a lot of people missed you, and we're back, and we're going to be back forever.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And I also want to greet our viewers around, and yes, it's good to be back.
Okay, fantastic. Let's quickly go through the topic of today. The elections are on 23 August, and it's very, very quiet. Nelson Chamisa is not as active as he was in 2018. In fact, he's less active than ZANU-PF. What's going on?
Oh, thank you very much, Gambakwe, for that. And like you said, it's good to be back. I think let's look back at the CCC when it was formed, announced rather. I remember it was announced on the 24th of January. And remember, it was on a background of a state and party that were trying by all means possible to make sure that it's silenced, that the opposition is silenced. Remember when they were MDC alliance. And we saw them going into the by-elections on the 26th of March, in which out of 28, they managed 19 seats, which was almost a 70% landslide. But that was on a background, remember, of state-sponsored, ZANU-PF-sponsored violence, in which we saw in Kwekwe the death of Mboneni, in which we saw in Bulawayo, in Gokwe, such gory violence that we saw against the CCC. Not only that, we saw the arrests of people like Tendai BT, Matsbabawe Shanduku, and many others. And that has continued. We have seen that violence against CCC has continued, but the CCC, from my point of view, have strategized to say, how do we go about or go around this ZANU-PF violence? And through the Amugwazo, they have penetrated the rural areas. We have seen that they've had so much influence. And as we can see now, there is a palpable support even in the rural areas where usually the opposition was not even allowed to be in. And they've done this quietly. We've seen critics of ZANU-PF, the likes of Jonathan Moyo and others, who have always said they are structureless. We have always said they do not have a plan, they do not have a strategy. But that strategy is bore fruit from what we can see. And I think if that plan is working, I don't know why Advocate Nelson Chamisa should be seen going all around. As long as they are managing to reach individuals, to penetrate individuals in the width and the breadth of the country, for me, that is what is more important. So I wouldn't say, to answer your question directly, I wouldn't say that Advocate Nelson Chamisa is really quiet. They are working, and I think we can see the fruit of it. And of course, as we are going to speak, the economy is also doing the work for them, and it's for everyone to see who the alternative is, and the alternative is the Triple C.
Okay, I see what you're saying there, that Chamisa can win without campaigning. But let's look at in Cowdrey Park, what is being done there by Professor Mutenheri. This is exactly what Chamisa was doing in 2018. What has changed besides the violence that you're talking about? Don't you think that Chamisa is showing lack of energy compared to 2018?
Not at all. Gamba, with the background I've just given you, that there is a spirited attempt by ZANU-PF and all its supporters to silence the Triple C. In fact, the continued incarceration of people like Job Sikala, and the recent conviction and sentencing of Jacob Ngarivumi is a sign that ZANU-PF wants to threaten anybody and everyone who will try and decampaign them, or to try and campaign for political office. Not only that, Gambakwe, you are very much aware that out of, and we know statistically that out of about the many rallies that were lined up by Triple C to to launch this campaign trail, about 63 rallies were banned, but none of the ZANU-PF rallies have been banned. So it of course calls for the Triple C to come up with strategy to say, how do we reach out the people? Obviously, campaigning, the star rallies and stuff like that, it's necessary that they be carried out. And I'm sure as we enter this eve of the election, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission should allow for that. You mentioned Cowdrey Park. Of course, we know that in Zimbabwe there are rules for ZANU-PF and rules for others. People like Mutenheri, who hold the purse of the country, of course, can send in the JCBs and all those trucks and pretend that they are bringing development. But we know that they always do this towards election time. And if the people of Cowdrey and any Zimbabwean who is going to vote can see through, they will know that this is mere politicking. And we know the conflict that is around there, that did he even do it with council consultation? Is he doing it the legal way? And we know that if Triple C tries that, they are going to be stopped forthwith. Remember, we've seen even in Harare, where some aspiring or even sitting MPs have tried to bring development such as boreholes. They were stopped. So it's not Advocate Nelson Chamisa has the energy, but it calls for new strategy now, considering that ZANU-PF is determined at all costs to make sure that they do not campaign, they do not do anything to show the electorate that they are ready to govern.
Okay, who are Chamisa's candidates?
No, why should people know now? We know that the Triple C has long said that. I think I'm liking it. You know what? That question, we know that it is an unsettled many a critic of ZANU-PF, or all those who thought that the Triple C will go the conventional way of politics. And I think it's kudos to them that they have maintained their line. We know that they want to know who are the candidates, for what reasons. The very reasons that they will start to, to met violence against them, to intimidate people, visit them, give them evening or night visits, and scare them. So I think they've done well to keep to their chests what they are planning, who their leaders are. But one thing that you are aware of, Gambako, is that the Triple C, with their strategy of getting into the masses, getting into the villages, into the wards, into the townships, the people within those areas, the citizens within those areas, are very much aware of who is going to represent them. In fact, through their consensus process, within those localities, people know who they are, who is going to represent them. It is only people in ZANU-PF who want to know. But I'll also ask a question: why do they want to know? Let a political party, let a movement like the CCC run its affairs. That call should be coming from CCC people to say, hey, where are our candidates? But CCC people are quiet, which means they know who their candidates are.
Okay. Doc, today I want us to be very, very quick. And I want us to end with this question. What does Chamisa have to offer this time around compared to 2018? And do you think he's going to win this election? That's the last question.
Okay. First and foremost, Advocate Chamisa is going to offer leadership to the country. That's the most important thing. This country is crying for a leader. Someone who is empathetic with the people, someone who the people have trust in, someone who is clean, someone who will bring new politics. And Advocate Nelson Chamisa is a pure and a total representation of that. Number one. Number two, the economy is in shambles, totally in shambles. We are back where we were in 2007, 2008. And the only person, the only alternative that is there is that led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Why do we say so? We saw what they did in the government of national unity, in which he was part of. We saw the transformation that they sought to bring. We saw the relief that they gave to the people of Zimbabwe. We saw the policies that they implemented, which corrected a deeply skewed economy at that time. They through their kind of governance that they introduced into the GNU, Zimbabweans could smile again. So that is number two. Number three, we know within that ambit of sorting out the economy, they are the people who understand. Advocate Nelson Chamisa and his team, they understand what are the real issues affecting this economy, those of confidence. And that confidence comes from a politics that is done right. And I think the CCC is the only political party that has shown an appetite to introduce a democratic system in our country, in which people are free to say their views, in which people can go about their business without necessarily thinking of politics. They are the only people that have shown that they can eradicate things like violence in our politics. They are the only team that are showing that they can follow the rule of law. And therefore, I think on that basis, Advocate Nelson Chamisa and the CCC are poised this time around, and they have got something that Zimbabweans are yearning for.
Okay, so Doc, I'm going to be in Zimbabwe again next week. I've been attempting to get the CCC guys so that I can talk to them. I'm totally confused about who is who in the CCC and how they will constitute a government after the election. So this is from my side. I think there will be total confusion if by chance Chamisa was to win. That day, we won't even know who to call and where to go. It will be like Chipatapata looking for, for where to find the leaders.
On that note, you'll be dishonest. I think there is a structure right now that people can go to, except if people say they want something more. We know that the leader of the party, who is the chief spokesperson, who is the director of policy, there is Advocate Nelson Chamisa. But in there we have a critical position, that of the spokes of the movement, who is Advocate Mutenheri, and she's there, and she has constantly made reviews of the week, in which she has updated Zimbabweans, updated citizens on what is happening in the country, on what the movement is all about. And I mean, with the working with her in that office is the able young man, Ostalos Siziba, who has been doing a good job to inform Zimbabweans. Within the election part, we have got people like Rema Koni, who has been doing good work updating people on the politics. It depends on what you want, but honestly, Gambakwe, for anyone to think that the CCC does not have a plan of who gets into what position, it is just a fallacy. It's just people who are trying to but I think they are there. Recently, I saw, I think it's a recent political party, I mean, a political rally, in which he was calling people who were in local government like Bozhidzai. He was talking to people like Advocate BT who were in finance. They are there, and I'm sure there is a plan there. It's only that people are impatient, especially those who are on the other side. They are impatient to know what's happening. And we know that the reason is that they want to start to criticize, to critique in the, in the wrong way, of course. But I think, and I know for sure that there is a solid team, a solid plan that the CCC has, and it's only a matter of time. And in fact, people should just be patient. By the 21st of June, I'm sure all candidates, when they are registered at the nomination court, people will get to know. And from then on, the whole process of knowing the political party will start. And by the way, remember, the CCC has not yet been launched as a political movement, and they have said it. And no one should stampede them into. I saw Jonathan Moyo, was it yesterday, and I felt pity for him because he is grumbling, howling, and somewhere in a corner asking, telling whoever he was telling that there is no opposition in Zimbabwe, and simply because he's still within his cocoon of saying there is no structure that we know. Why does he want to know? If he wants to know, he should apply for membership there. Probably he would be privy to those things, because right now the CCC has said no, we will not give ZANU-PF another bite of the cherry by doing what they want or by doing the conventional. Iyo ZANU-PF yakaita gorilla warfare wani pavakanga vachirova chiprenga. Gorilla warfare.
You know what?
They were staying.
You know what made me laugh? Doc, you know what made me laugh?
Yeah.
When you mentioned people like Ostalos and Fadzai as the presidium of a party in the country, I've been with those guys, and I don't think they're there. I don't think you can put someone like Ostalos in the presidium of a country, or someone like Fadzai. They're just not there yet.
What informs your doubt, or what?
Like I've said, I've been with those guys. I've been with Chamisa's people. I've been into their homes. I've spent days with those people who are in that party. Most of the people that have got capacity, they've distanced themselves from the CCC because of lack of structures. You cannot compare someone like Mthuli Ncube with Ostalos. You cannot compare anyone in the ZANU-PF leadership with someone in the CCC group that you know. You know this very well. Tendai Biti himself, he was quoted this week mentioning these facts that I'm saying, that most of the people around Chamisa are pretenders. They are not leadership material. This is known. That if today Chamisa was to win, he would not fail. He would not have a full cabinet. Yeah.
You know why I laughed also? when you mentioned Mthuli Ncube, I was forced to laugh. Did you just say Mthuli Ncube is the caliber we want? You know what? Fair and fine. we are told he's a professor of economics. What is there to show in our country that we have a professor or in our country who is running the economics? He can't understand basic economics of how to run that economy. I mean, it's there to show. Today, the interbank rate is hovering around 6,000, 6.5. 1 to 6,000, 6.5. In the black market, 12,000. He took it. I mean, we know that the President Mnangagwa once came out and made a shame out of himself when he said, the RTGS is the strongest currency in the region. And he was boasting. But are we even 2 years down the line with this man Mutuli running the show for him? Nothing. So, Gambakwe, don't give me people vamugabe vakanga vaine madegree mangani kwaanga asingasviki 7 mamwe akawanda, but where did he take us? So these people that are running the government today, they got into power at their very earliest stages. In fact, they did not even have the statecraft or the craft competence to run that economy. And of course, actually, that's what explains why they have taken us this far. But the younger people that are in the CCC, I'm not singling out those you mentioned. I think they have better lessons to learn. We have learned how not to run that economy. I think Zimbabwe is one economy that will be easier to run, because once you fix the politics, of that country, it's easy to run it. It's simply putting in place what is there for you. Just dollarize that economy. Just make sure that you start the process of developing, making sure that your industries are working. Just make sure you don't introduce a useless currency which does not have a backing of reserves. Simple things that Mtuli can implement tomorrow and that economy starts to run. And you tell me that he is better than those guys? No,
Doc, I'm just trying to push you to give better answers. But if Fadzai was to become the vice president of Zimbabwe, I will leave the country immediately. Like, honestly, I wouldn't stay in Zimbabwe, because
you can leave. We'll stay in there, but I doubt. She is not in the presidium. She is a spokesperson. She is a spokesperson. Basically, I think it is good they did that, because it, as a new outfit, as a new movement, it has actually worked very well, because it has put a watertight kind of environment, because you don't want a new movement where you have got so many spokespersons and which sort of brings out divisions, even as people, when people speak different differently. So I think that strategy has worked actually, and I know that it is annoying people out there who want to see so-called big names, but even those people they are still intact. They understand that in this day there is need for a new strategy to tackle ZANU-PF, and I think it's kudos to Advocate Nelson Chamisa and his team, and I'm sure they are doing it as a team. It's actually in the newspapers and in media rooms where they are saying, no, Chamisa has been deserted by so and so. Chamisa's team is intact. I can assure you that man has got the support. Recently, you had even Professor Mtambara at the launch of his book. He clearly was saying, no, I mean, there are many others. Okay. There are many others.
Okay, Doc, yeah. I always appreciate you coming here and talking to me. And obviously, some of the things we are saying here, it's out of fun.
I know.
Especially with Fadzai, Fadzai, she disappointed me when she went to another country to basically bash her own country. I don't think that was for a position in the CCC. She didn't do a good job. And Ostaldo's, he's failed to represent the CCC totally. I think Chamisa will have a big mountain to climb to build a team it would be very difficult for Chamisa to build a government if he was to win this election. President Mnangagwa is surrounded by people of a certain caliber that you cannot describe and compare with the CCC, regardless of the popularity on the ground. It would be very difficult for Chamisa.
Name them.
Anyone in President Mnangagwa's government right now can be 10 times better off. Let me talk to you about the achievements of those guys. Let's take anyone in the top 10 of ZANU-PF and take anyone in the top 3 of CCC, right? And compare what they've done in their own personal lives and compare what the CCC guys have done. It will be very difficult for Chamisa to pick someone within his group. You will have to go outside the group to pick people because they just don't have the capacity to run a government. Unfortunately, I don't think they have the capacity to do it.
But Gambakwe, I think you stand to be challenged there. You stand to be challenged because I think what you are basically saying is that the people around President Mnangagwa, those that we know who have riches or who have businesses or who have built some empires, you want to make me or others believe that they've done that by their pure sweat and blood. You want to tell me that today, if they were to be told to declare their assets and tell us where they got them, they will be clean. You want to tell me that those are people who have gotten all that they have through honest and diligent work? No, I think you stand to be challenged, Gambakwe. These are people we have constantly seen on our televisions and who have been thrust on us. But we know that all they have is ill-gotten. Most of them, at least most of them, that what they have is not out of honest work. And that by hanging on to power, they continue to harp upon us that they have done well. Look, recently we had the Al Jazeera exposing a lot of rot, and those people, I'm sure they were unsettled in their seats. But of course, as usual, nothing happens with our government. You know, the media, you guys in the media are the fourth estate. You are supposed to unearth what happens in government, and government must follow through, investigate such things. If that was to happen in Zimbabwe, all of those people you are talking about will fall by the wayside. In fact, where they belong is where Job Sikala is. And these young people you are talking about who have no blood in their hands, who have not tested corruption at the height that we are seeing in Zimbabwe, would be the right people to sit in there, who understand what the general person wants. Of course, what we will pray for is that they will also not be corrupted by power when they get there, because they say power corrupts and corrupts absolutely. And I hope, it is our hope that when they also get there, which they are going to do anyway, they will understand that they are there to serve the people, not their stomachs first, their families first. So, Gambakwe, I would not really want to agree with you that the people around President Mnangagwa are the caliber of people we want. Some of them, actually, we get to know who they really are when they come closer. People like Mtuli Ncube was celebrated. He was at Wits University as a lecturer, you know, speaking well, talking well, and everybody was touting him as the best brains to come and rescue us. But where has he taken us? He has taken us to the West. I think the likes of Wechinamasa Vomurerwa are far much better than this guy, far much better than this professor guy. And then we are seeing many other professors and others who are in government getting to be corrupted because they are showing us that they don't have spine. All they have are titles, academic titles, and probably ill-gotten wealth, but nothing to offer to the people of Zimbabwe. A Zimbabwean today wants to get into a shop and find stable prices. They want to get to their children to school and find a better education with books in the classroom, with tables, with classrooms. What are the ministers of education doing? They want to get to a hospital that is functional, a hospital that has got Panado at least. But what are they finding with those that are heading our health? I could go on and on, Gambako. I know today you said we are introducing and want to cut it short. So to cut it short, Gambako, the CCC has what it takes, and it has got the goodwill of all the skilled people in and outside the country, of all those who want to put their shoulder to the plow to make sure that Zimbabwe is rebuilt. In fact, you would be shocked that those people around President Mnangagwa, they are the same people, most of them, who were cheering when he was kicked out of ZANU-PF and chased out of the country, only to turn around and start supporting him, saying he vakafanana nemkaka, ikrimora, you know, all that kind of praise singing that happens in ZANU-PF. At least President Nelson Chamisa has shown that he holds no brief for anybody, and that he is prepared to call out anyone, even big names, as long as they are not straightforward. That's a leader you want. That's a leader you want, a leader that shuns away from corrupt people, from people whose objective is to acquire power for the sake of it, or to acquire power so that they can enrich themselves. Advocate Nelson Chamisa is showing those signs, and people are uncomfortable. People are uncomfortable, but I think that's a leader that Zimbabweans want.
Okay, so Doc, this was great. It was great talking to you after a long time. It's very difficult for me to broadcast in Kariba because we are still at a construction site. And when I get an opportunity like this, I will be making sure that every week we get you here. And for Chamisa, he has to prove to me, for the first time, remember I supported Chamisa a lot in 2018. Now I just have lost confidence in his ability to form a government. I often ask myself, who is going to be the defense minister of Chamisa? Who is going to be the intelligence minister? You know, those things are quite important to me. I want to know the depth, and I see that there's a lack of that depth. This is where I am. This is why you see me questioning Chamisa. I've got no doubt in my mind that there'll be chaos on the day when Chamisa...
Do you know who else wants to know that? It's ZANU-PF and it's Varakash. They also want to know who is Chamisa going to put there? Who is Chamisa going to put there? Now, hands are Walume this time. So so it's good. It's good. And I think in due time, however, Gambako, in due time, I think that information will be available when it is necessary to do so, when it is actually much safer for the new baby. Remember, it's just 1 year old. This is a political movement that is just 1 year old, and everyone is unsettled by their strategies. Ndo vakamboti havana strategy. Mind strategy yatopo iyoyi, which for me I think is a step in the right direction. So let people be patient, and I'm sure at the right time, the CCC will show the whole world, not only Zimbabweans, but the whole world, that it has been the government in waiting for this time. And I have no doubt. I totally have no doubt.
Thank you very much, Doc. And is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Gambakwe, right now, the only thing is to encourage people to say they must come out in their numbers and go to vote. It's just above 2 months before the reckoning date, 23rd of August. By the way, it will be 2 days before my birthday, which is the 25th. So I guess by the 25th, my birthday celebration will be a huge bash of a celebration of a change in Zimbabwe. So I want to just encourage Zimbabweans out there to go and vote. And I also want to encourage Zimbabweans to come on this platform every week and let's share the ideas, let's share the information as we go towards the election. Let's also try to inform rather than disinform what ZANU-PF has always invested in. ZANU-PF invests in propaganda, and there is a lot of it flying in the air. And I'm sure through Gambakwe's channel, because Gambakwe is a very nice guy, we will be able to inform and do away with all misinformation by ZANU-PF, Marakashi, and FAZ, and many other fly-by-night groups that are coming up. Mashikiro, Kwana Mashikiro Gamazanu, So that's what I want to say, Gambakwe. But thank you very much, Gambakwe, for inviting me again and for coming back on this platform. I can tell you that it had become a family platform where many people actually talk to me and say, Doc, where are you? Why are you hiding? What's happening with Gambakwe and stuff like that? So thank you very much for bringing it back. And as we go towards the elections, I'm sure it will be a handy platform.
Thank you very, very much, Doc, and good night to everybody. See you again next week.
Thank you, Gambakwe. Good night.
Uko kuno aho pano mamuona kere nai anno pura meso anno pura nzebe anno kaya marigi Gambakwe.com, Gambakwe.com,
Gambakwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com. Gambakwe vanogaya mari, vanotara mari, vanoziya mari. Gambakwe vanotara feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei, vanhuterere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudzei kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Gambakwe vanogaya cash, vanopa mafacts, vanotara straight, vane evidence, vane confidence plus intelligence.
Entertainment, current affairs and news. Gambakwe.com. Usasarire, Gambakwe anogaya mari.